Okay, so we just finished the P4. Let's move on to P5. Okay, given triangle ABC with exterior angle 4, if the measure of angle 2 is equal to 23 degrees, and the measure of angle 4 is equal to 101 degrees, let's find angle 1 and angle 3. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is find the measure of angle 3. You have to do that first. Put it over here, actually. The measure of angle 3 is equal to, we know that it is a linear pair, so I can do 180 minus 101. And so this will give me the measure of angle 3 is equal to 79 degrees. Okay, now I have this. Now I can find the measure of angle 1. The measure of angle 1 is equal to, so 79 plus 23 will give me, what is that, 102. Let me check that. 79 plus 23, of course, is 102, correct. So, measure angle 1 is just 180 minus 102. So the measure of angle 1 is just 78 degrees. Alright, so let me look back at number 4 real quick, okay? We can do, I want to just did something I noticed. I noticed that the measure of angle 4 was, and this one was 105 degrees, correct? But then I also noticed that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2, which was 65 and 40, also equaled 105. This is curious, okay? This is actually our next theorem called the exterior angle theorem, which says that the exterior angle is always equal to the sum of the remote interiors. So in this case, measure of angle 4 would be equal to 1 plus 2. Measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. That will always work for exterior angles, which is what we have right here, the exterior angle theorem. It says the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of its two remote interior angles, okay? So in this case, the measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So as you noticed in the previous problems, to solve those problems, it was not necessary for us to know this theorem, but it sure would make our lives a little bit easier to be able to use this theorem. So to be able to use it, of course, we have to prove it. Again, we have one of these fill-in-the-blank proofs. So the proof of the exterior angle theorem. All right, given triangle ABC with exterior angle 4, we want to prove that the measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So, of course, our first reason for this is given, because we just have our given statement as number 1. All right, so it says the triangle sum theorem is my next reason. So I have a triangle right here, angles with angles 1, 2, and 3. So the triangle sum theorem says those three add up to 180. So I can say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, my next statement says that the measure of 3 plus the measure of 4 is equal to 180 degrees. So 3 and 4 are a linear pair. So this would be the linear pair postulate. Okay, now, so transitive property, remember we use the transitive property whenever we have two things that are equal to the same thing, then they're equal to each other. Both in statements 2 and 3, we have two things equal to 180, so they are both equal to the same thing, so they are equal to each other. So I'm going to say that the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. All right, now I'm trying to get to this last statement, which says the measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So how did I get from statement 4 to 5? What I did was I subtracted the measure of angle 3 away from both sides. You notice that's the only thing missing from 4 to 5. So we can do that if we subtract the same thing from both sides. That's by the subtraction property of equality. And with that, we are finished with our proof. That was a pretty short one, okay? So now we can use this exterior angle theorem, which makes things a lot easier. All right. P6. Jackson owns a stained glass window business. He is replacing pieces of a broken window. The shaded piece of glass below is one of the triangles Jason needs to replace. Jason knows that in this section of the window, the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1. So let's underline that. That's important. What are the measures of all the angles in the pieces of glass? So we're trying to find every single angle. Angle 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So let's go back to the statement that I underlined. It says the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1. So let's go from words to math. Okay? So I can signify the measure of angle 2 by writing measure of angle 2. Okay? And then I see the word is. I know that the word is always means equals. So is equal. It's 3 times the measure of angle 1. So 3 times the measure of angle 1. Awesome. That's a good thing to know. All right. So let's look at what we have here. I have an exterior angle, which is 124 degrees. So we remember the exterior angle theorem says that this exterior angle is equal to the sum of the remote interiors. So the two remote interiors are angle 1 and angle 2. So I can say by exterior angle theorem, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 124. Okay, so what I want to do is I want an equation to solve for either the measure of angle 1 or the measure of angle 2. I know that the measure of angle 2 is just equal to 3 times the measure of angle 1, so let's substitute that in. So the measure of angle 1 plus 3 times the measure of angle 1 is equal to 124. So 4 times the measure of angle 1 is equal to 124, just with a little algebra. So to get measure of angle 1 by itself, we divide both sides by 4 to get that the measure of angle 1 is equal to, let's see, 124 divided by 4 is 31 degrees. Okay, cool. So 31 degrees. Now, I know that the measure of angle 2, I know that 1 and 2 add up to 124, so I can find the measure of angle 2 by just doing 124 minus 31 to give me that the measure of angle 2 is equal to 93 degrees. And then how about we just do that the measure of angle 3 is a linear pair with this, with 124. So the measure of angle 3 would then be 180 minus 124, which is 56 degrees. And we've solved that problem. We've done everything we want to do there, so we're finished. Not too bad. All right, problem 7. If the measure of angle 2 is equal to 10x plus 2, all right, so 10x plus 2, okay, and the measure of angle 1 is 11x minus 11. Let's find measure of angle 1, measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 3. All right, use exterior angle theorem, because I have an exterior angle right here, which is 138 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 138. So let's plug in what we know. Measure of angle 1 is 11x minus 11. Measure of angle 2 is 10x plus 2. This adds up to equal 138. So now let's do a little algebra to solve this. 11 plus 10 is 21x. Negative 11 plus 2 is minus 9 equals 138. 21x is equal to, so 138 plus 9 will give me 147. Divide both sides by 21 to get that x is equal to 7. We are not finished yet because we want to find measure of angle 1, measure of angle 2, and measure of angle 3. So let's plug in to find the measure of angle 1. 11 times 7 minus 11. I just plug that in your calculator. 11 times 7 is 77 minus 11, going to give me that the measure of angle 1 is equal to 66 degrees. The measure of angle 2 can be found similarly, or you can do 138 minus 66. Let's just do that. Measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 138 minus 66, because we know that the 1 and 2 add up to 138. So the measure of angle 2 is equal to 72 degrees. And then the measure of angle 3, of course, is a linear pair with 138. So it's 180 minus 138. So the measure of angle 3 is equal to 42 degrees. So if you want to check yourself, you can make sure that 1, 2, and 3 add up to 180. So let me check with my calculator real quick. 66 plus 72 plus 42, of course, gives me 180 degrees. So we're finished with that problem. Okay, 3 more problems. So P8 says, two remote interior angles of a triangle measure 37 degrees and 62 degrees. What is the measure of the exterior angle associated with the remote interior angles? So we know that the exterior angle theorem says that the measure of the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles, which in this case are 37 and 62. So we add those two up to get our exterior angle. So 37 plus 62 is equal to 99 degrees. And that is our answer. What's the measure of the third angle in the triangle? So I know two of them are 37 and 62. Add those up, of course, we get 99. Our third angle would just be 180 minus 99, which is 101 degrees. All right, let's look at number 9. Is it possible for the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle to be equal to the measure of a remote interior angle? Explain. This is a big old no. Okay, so if the measure of an exterior angle is equal to one of the remote interior angles, then that's not possible, because I know that the exterior angle is the sum of two remote interior angles. So let's see, because, or we'll say the exterior angle is the sum of the two remote interior angles. So if exterior angle is equal to one remote interior angle, then that would make the other equal 0 degrees, which is impossible. Alright, now our last problem here for our video is number 10. Use the figure below to find each measure. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find x first off. So I notice I have 3 angles in a triangle. Okay, obviously they're in x. We have expressions for each of them. We know those 3 add up to 180. So my equation for x will first be 2x plus 2 plus x plus 4 plus x equals 180. Okay, so let's do a little algebra. This will give me 4x plus 6 equals 180. So 4x is equal to 174. Divide 174 divided by 4, 43.5. Awesome. So notice that this angle right here is just whatever x is, which is 43.5. So let's see if we can figure out which angle that is in our triangle. That is angle ABC. Okay, so the measure of angle ABC is also just 43.5 degrees. Alright, now let's find the measure of angle A and the measure of angle C by plugging in. So two times 43.5 plus 2, so 43.5 times 2 is 87 plus 2 is equal to 89 degrees. And the measure of angle C is just 43.5 plus 4, which will give me 47.5. Alright, then the measure of angle ABD, which is our exterior angle, is going to be 180 minus 43.5, which is 136.5 degrees. And with that, we have finished lesson 13.1. Okay, so if you have any questions on this, please let me know. You can email me or talk to me in class. So I hope you're using this to study for your quiz or your test or quiz, whatever you want to call it as well. Thanks for watching, guys.